going to show you 5 yoga poses that you could do all the time, pretty much anywhere. They're each balance poses, and these are really important. Every year as we get older, it's harder and harder to keep our balance, so it's something that we have to practice, just like flexibility. So we're going to start out in star pose. So start with your right leg on the ground, and then just bring your left leg out a little bit and just keep your toe on the ground to start with, and then bring the other points of your star up. So you've got 5 points. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So you're a 5-pointed star. And then from here, if it feels good, then you can lift that leg off the ground, and then you'll notice that you're really digging in. It's like you're growing roots out of your foot into the ground to keep your balance. So if this seems really hard, then go ahead and put that toe back down, and you're just fine there. So take a few breaths in star pose, and if you'd like to, you can turn this into falling star, where you can move a little dynamically and just do whatever movements you want. Falling star is really fun. So then from star pose, we're going to come into tree, and everybody has seen tree pose, but the most basic version of tree is toe on the ground and heel at your ankle. And then you can choose any variation of arm movements. You can have your hands in prayer. You can lace your hands behind your head and just rest your head there. You can have arms out to the side. You can have arms back and forth, whatever you want to do. If this feels like you're really stable, then bring that foot up so that it's resting on your calf below the knee. Notice that your foot is never on your knee. And if that feels really easy, then try foot above the knee, and you're pressing, this foot is pressing into your thigh, and your thigh is pressing back against your foot. So it's not a passive pose, it's a dynamic pose. If that feels really easy to you, then just vary your arms, and you can have your arms moving like the tree is swaying, or you can have them in a fixed position. And remember, in every balance pose, I'm looking at the camera, but in a balance pose, you're typically looking at a spot on the ground. And if that feels really good, then you can raise your gaze to where you're looking at a spot somewhere straight in front of you. And then if you feel like you've totally got this, then you raise your eye gaze up. So maybe if you're inside, you're looking at where the ceiling meets the top of the wall. And then if you feel like you're a complete rock star, then close your eyes. I can't do that and stay. I fall over every time. Okay, from tree, we're gonna go to royal dancer. So then undo that tree branch, and you start in a quad stretch. So knees are together, and you're bringing your heel right to the back of your glutes, and that feels so good. But from here, we're gonna push into royal dancer. So instead of lifting this foot, you're just gonna push your foot against your hand. And that's really it. And you can bring your other arm forward, and you can push that foot as much as you want, or if you're feeling a little unstable, then come back and closer. So try royal dancer. That's a really fun one. Then from royal dancer, the last one we're gonna do is hand to knee. So bring that knee up into the side, and just hold it with your hand. And if you'd like to, then you can also hold this way, arm underneath your knee. Then bring that other arm out to create balance on that side. And if you're feeling like, you know what, I need something a little harder, then try hand to foot. So you can either grab your foot from the side. I like to grab my big toe with 2 fingers and a thumb, and then straighten that leg. And then remember, reach out with your arm on the other side so that you can balance. This is a great stretch, and it feels really good. So that's 5 poses we did on this side. So then come down to the center, both feet on the ground. This is mountain pose or Tadasana. Close your eyes, take a few breaths. That standing leg is going to be tired a little bit, and that's really good. Then open your eyes, and we'll do the same thing on the other side. So this time, left leg is on the ground. Bring the right foot out, and start out with the toe on the ground. Bring out your star points. Remember, there are 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then bring that leg off the ground. And notice that maybe it's easier to do it on this side, or maybe it's harder. And all I'm asking you to do is just notice that so that you're mindful. Then maybe try some falling star. Just for fun. And then we'll come into tree pose. So remember, start with the easiest one. Toe on the ground, heel on your ankle. Bring your arms to prayer. And if you're feeling really confident, then take the next step. Then bring that foot up a little bit, but make sure that it's below your knee. And try different arm poses. I like to bring my hands together behind my back and then roll my shoulders back and down and lift those hands away. Oh, that's a nice shoulder and pec stretch. And then if you're still feeling like, you know what, I can maybe do a little bit more, then try to bring your foot up above the knee, pressing that foot into your thigh, and then pressing against your foot with your thigh. And maybe try a different arm pose. Take slow breaths. Fix your gaze somewhere that isn't moving. And just breathe. And that feels really good. Then from here, we're going to go back to Royal Dancer. So we start Royal Dancer, remember, with a quad stretch. So bring that foot in. Knees are together. Bring your other arm out for balance. And you've got your heel coming right into your glutes. Oh, that's a great quad stretch. That feels really good. So from there, for Royal Dancer, then you're just pressing your foot into your hand. And maybe bring your other arm forward. Breathe here. And then last one, hand to knee. So bring that knee to the side. Your standing leg is starting to wobble now. Or you can bring your hand underneath. And every time you tilt a little bit or start to fall, you just turn it into a dance move and then come right back in. And if you want to try hand to foot, and grab your foot or two toes. Sorry, one toe with two fingers. For hand to foot. I really like this one because it's such a nice stretch. Remember to bring that arm out as a counterbalance. Try to keep your chest open. One more breath. And then come back into Tadasana. Tadasana, or mountain pose, this is a very active pose. It's not a passive pose. So every time you're in mountain pose, lift your kneecaps by tightening, contracting your quads. And then picture your feet growing roots and going into the ground. Close your eyes. Take nice deep breaths. And open your eyes. Take a nice deep breath. Exhale, bring your arms back as far as you can. Bring those elbows back like somebody's right behind you. Take a few deep breaths. You did some really hard balance poses. And remember, you can do these in the easiest version to start out and then progress and try to do the more difficult versions. Balance is really, really important. I have noticed over the years that I'm not able to hold my balance poses as long as I used to, and that's okay. But I'm not falling down either. So I'm still doing all right. Have a wonderful day. Try out those balance poses and let me know what you think. See you soon.